Work around the compound. Hi. Really? My goodness. Tell me more. That is a number of opinions. Care to elaborate further? Hi, bud. Goodness gracious. Those were some very big moves. Those were very, very big. They were impressive. Yeah, I liked them. Liked them a lot. See, he was looking over there. He was looking at the goings on over there, I guess. And then I thought, like, you know what? He looks like he's got some moves just kind of in the chamber. Looks like he's got some moves bottled up. Let's see if we can go and help him with a moo extraction. Lo and behold, moves came out, popped out, Probably feels pretty good. It's kind of like when you've just been gassy, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, finally, goodness gracious. You take a little bit of Beano and everything's good. Everything's good. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful, oh my gosh, we got a tour going on. I don't want to interrupt the tour. And yeah, that's right. I don't want to interrupt a tour, but more important, is this Solano's webcast now? Okay. I was going to say, I don't want to interrupt the tour, but more importantly, I don't want the tour interrupting me. Which actually is kind of the truth, because I would not be able to keep, well, of course, if I went up and like they're talking and I'm talking, that would just be weird. It would. Bless you. Bobby. Anyway, hello all of you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again. Welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. What is this? What we got going on down here? Look at this. Oh my gosh. That would be Naya inside, because that's Shanti up there. Oh my gosh. Naya! Naya! Girls! Pretty babies! Okay. Beautiful day outside right now. It is somewhere like in the mid 70s. Maybe like a 74 to 76 degrees or something like that, Just beautiful. Perfect shorts and t-shirt weather. Slightly cool breeze. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Hey, you want to come over and say hi? She's like, I would rather lick my tummy. I'm like, okay, you would rather lick your tummy. I guess I'll go over and say hello to you. Don't mind me. Hi, pretty girl. It's interesting. We had two separate tours happening today with people who were doing the Spartan race. Yeah, people who were doing the Spartan race. There was two. It was like there was one group, and they were, I think it was like the 11 o'clock, and Hold on 1 second. I gotta check. I've got to check something. Okay, we're back. I had to because I didn't want to I didn't want to assume someone's name and then mess it up because that would just be awkward. But there was one person, like there was a group of a couple, like a boyfriend girlfriend. Actually, it was like 2 boyfriend girlfriend couples, unless the second one was husband wife. I don't know. Either way, it was 2 couples. One at the 11 o'clock, one at the 1 o'clock tour, that's kind of funny. And they were both doing Spartan races. And they just, yeah, and the first one, actually like a fan of, the content. Her name is Ashley Mefford from Iowa. Hi, Ashley. How are you? It was very nice meeting you today. And she had emailed before and said like, hey, you're going to be doing the Spartan thing? And I'm just like, can't, screwed up the shoulder. And she's like, boo, weak sauce. I used to think that you were cool. No. But so I was like, I couldn't do it this year. Doesn't mean I still don't possibly have a trick or two up my sleeve as far as showing you the whole thing. Ace. But anywho, she was there. And then this other couple at the 1 o'clock. Oh my gosh, I know, so excited. Oh my gosh, there's food. There's food. There you go. Hi, baby. And but the second couple, they actually they do the Spartan circuit. Hi, baby. They do the Spartan circuit, and they were like, this was the first time that they were doing like the Texas Beast, which those crazy people, and they're from Michigan. Like people coming up from north. So a couple from Iowa and a couple from Michigan, and oh my gosh, Wisconsin in the middle. All these northern people coming together. All these northerners coming down to Texas. Spartans. Roo, eh? But there was, the second couple, they ran it twice. 28 miles. It's crazy. That's nuts. But they were like, well, we haven't done this one, so we wanted to see if there were any videos about the Dallas or the Texas Spartan Beast race. And whose video comes up? This guy's, and they're like, oh my gosh, well, not only can we see the video of what to expect during the race, but we also get an entertaining bit of content to watch. Very cool. Very cool. And so like, it was like a weird thing. Of course, I get that, a lot where I'll be walking up, I'll be outside doing something, and all of a sudden, like, there's a person like, hi, Derek, and it's just like, okay, well, they're just familiar with the facility. But then they told me, they're just like, yeah, that's all, like, we know about it. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. So, something besides all the peets and squeaks, and they're like, yeah, but we decided to come here anyway. I'm like, neat. Very neat. Da, 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 da. Hi, Papa. How are you? Aw, he's got a little bit of skediopetes. He's got some skediopetes going on. He's got a little bit of blood on them petes. Very cute. Some skediopetes. Trying to do different, I try to do like different recipes involving cast iron skillets and the oven, where you like cook things on a cast iron skillet, maybe on the stovetop, and then you take the whole thing and then you put it in the oven for like more like cooking, to like really release the cooking, I guess you could say. But man, that getting it right. And look, I can put a few things together. I'm not gonna sit there and say that I completely stink, but man, that cooking style, that's an art. And It's like, you know what? The taste came out pretty good, but I made some lemon herb chicken. I was making some lemon herb chicken with some rosemary potatoes. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Hi, bud. Maybe you should look up some French recipes. Some remoulade. Or some croissants. Yeah, no, you're right, jumpers. I should have looked up a French recipe. Because we all know that cast iron skillets is big in French culture. Oui. The Eiffel Tower is made out of cast iron. That is where we get all of our skillets. Well, what happens when you take too much metal? It's gonna affect the structural integrity. We did not think of that. We just love to cook on our Eiffel Tower skillets. Oh. Well, you guys are gonna have to deal with that problem soon. You're gonna have a leaning Eiffel Tower. You know, if you're not careful. You gotta consult some engineers on that one. Oui. Anyway. Yeah, I was I was just trying to do some simple stuff. Trying to do the simple stuff, because if you can't do the simple stuff, then how are you gonna move on to more complex things? You gotta, you know. And it turned out fine. Like the chicken itself, like it was very moist. There was a lot of moisture. There's moisture. But I felt like the flavor could have been a little bit better, and I felt like the browning on the top could have been a little bit more pronounced. So it's like those little things, you know. Like, oh, how do I do this? And then you look up different videos like, how do I make it a little bit more like this? How do I do this? Oh my gosh. Or, oh my gosh, if you're ever looking at recipes, make sure, if you're looking, because, you know, America, we kind of do things in that Fahrenheit scale, and then basically the entire rest of the world does things in Celsius, or centigrade. Yeah, and, yeah, make sure that you're... If you have a recipe that calls for something to go into an oven at such and such degrees, that you know what unit that you're talking about. I've made that mistake before. Jeez, like I didn't know that it took 4 hours to cook a beef Wellington. Yeah. English recipe. Hi. You have proteins. My goodness. My goodness. Okay. Alrighty. We're gonna leave you alone. We're gonna... Ooh, boy. Okay. Yeah. Hear ya. Hear you loud and clear. Firebug says, get away from my proteins. Get away from my proteins. Do you see these proteins? They are mine. They are mine. Oh. So, the internet's a thing, isn't it? That's cool. People's ability to connect and people's ability to share information. I mean, we're talking about people sharing information at an unprecedented level. Okay. We've got some kitties. Yeah, we've got some kitties that have got some protein. So we can only get so close to some of these proteins kitties. We had some kitties that got fed. It is feed day, so a couple kitties got fed who are a little bit off of the beaten path of like normal tour routes. So yeah, and then once this last tour finishes up, I'm gonna feed the rest of the kitties. But until then, when Derek walks around, there's gonna be some pissed off pussycats. Yeah. But then there's gonna be sweethearts, like Rasa, who can't wash sometimes. Sometimes she can be sweet, sometimes she can be kind of weird with me. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're sweet right now, though. Ooh, pretty kitty. Yes, you are. You're very pretty. Bless you. Bless you. I wonder, because humans we have an insatiable appetite for information. We have an insatiable appetite for knowledge. That's one of the main reasons why we were able to, evolve and lift ourselves out of the jungles and then the savannas. Was because of our curiosity and our desire for information. Information. I mean, like some of the biggest propulsions of technology, or some of the things that have catapulted human civilization forward in the most meaningful ways, have been the adoption and development of technologies involving information, like the printing press. That was such a huge, just enormously important technological development. Changed everything. Caused, it allowed, just normal, just regular people to become literate. Oh my gosh, what a big thing. Because words became more accessible. Just simply, and it was just that. Just by sheer nature of just, hey, words, more people can has them. Cool. I want to know what them words are, what they mean. I mean, even just like written language, that's a method. Written language, or the actual notion of language itself. You go back to early ancestors of Cro-Magnon human, or the Homo sapiens. Just the adoption of language itself, coming up with symbols and tones, sounds to imply meaning. I'm sure that catapulted the individuals who adopted that stuff and then put it into their tribal structures. Oh my gosh. I'm sure that they became much more successful at hunting, at being able to coordinate with each other and to gather and to keep resources, to increase their calorie counts. And then increase the likelihood that their offspring were going to be healthy and survive. Just information. And we're seeing it still to this day. The adoption, of the internet, and the internet becoming commercially available to people. And that happened in 1995. So the internet exploded in 1995. I think it was 50 million people in the United States adopted or got personal computers that were connected to the internet between the year of 1995 and 1997. Here in the United States, 50 million people. This is a massive, major adoption of a technology over a relatively short period of time. And then social media. Social media, you had the internet, and then we started putting the internet and devices into our pockets, and then social media started to develop, and then they started becoming just people's collective voices. And everyone, and here's the thing, look, so much of it can be chalked up to, oh my gosh, dorps. It can be chalked up to dorps. Dang it, there was a tom-tom. Oh baby, oh baby. But there's a collective din, and you can get into some really crude and just cruddy sections of the internet where people are just yakking in just dank, dark caverns, really just some. But I think that's also Hi, baby. Hi, sugar pie. Hi, sugar pie. Beautiful. I don't know. Like people's ability to be expressive and people's ability to kind of express themselves for good or for bad. And I think it's almost kind of like, because the immediacy of it is amazing. The immediacy of it is, it's becoming so much more Borg-like. And I think, I wonder, I do sometimes wonder if this is like, you know, the actual, it's like the progression of our species evolution. We're slowly, like, we're stair-stepping the modes of the transference of knowledge and information, communication. That we're becoming so much more communicative. That the information is transferring so much more freely now than it ever has been. It's almost, it's like a hive mind is beginning to take form. And the traditional arbiters or controllers, holders of information, like, though we're seeing so many of them just being having a lot of their information authority, their information control, just being taken away with the rise of the internet, with the rise of social media. Avenues for information are so much more. And I'm saying things like a lot of your traditional news outlets, I mean, we're seeing certain kind of upending things happening within Hollywood right now, you know, with all of like the sex scandal things. But I have to sit there and say, like, that stuff is good. We're the ability to just kind of lift up a rock. You know, rocks that have been there for a long time, like, oh, geez, there's a lot of roaches down here. It's almost kind of like information is just, and our immediate ability to transfer information is becoming so much more like a flashlight of sorts. And we're able to illuminate some of these areas that have not been illuminated. Long-standing institutions are being redefined, they're being questioned, they're being restructured, they're being revolutionized. Some are going to survive. I think, whoa, look at these boys. Look at these boys. Some of these institutions are going to be able to survive. Because then they'll adapt, they'll change, and then they'll restructure, they'll move into the future. And then some, they're just going to go by the wayside. They're not going to be able to adapt. And I think there's just a normal kind of like evolutionary process to that. But isn't it interesting how so many of our structures, whether they be industries or even like actual like physical structures, they resemble like the naturalistic processes of biology in so many different ways, like the avenues for like neural connections and synapses, like the system of veins and arteries inside of our body. You can sit there and think that the road system of a city is analogous. The way that cities are laid out. Certain neighborhoods are like organs. And then you have like cars and modes of transport are like cells. They're transporting goods and services, nutrients and proteins from one organ to another, so that the whole unit is able to live and exist and thrive and flourish. We have internet lines acting almost. There's like Wi-Fi signals and internet lines. It's like a central nervous system. we have a means of being able to remove waste from our body, much like cities and stuff like that do. Maybe you could sit there and say like, oh my gosh, you got like police officers, they're like white blood, so like stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe you can even say like, oh, it's bigger. Like a country, like a nation can also be kind of analogous for how a body is structured. How a biologic organism is structured. So what's to say that eventually we're not going to like blend so much of our mental power with each other? Hi, Mr. Tato Head. Hi, Mr. Oh, really? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Yeah? Yeah. You're okay. You're alright. Are you hungry? Yeah, it's feed day, isn't it? It's feed day. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So who's to say though that we're not going to continue to kind of like blend, you know, our individual selves into almost like a collective kind of conscious. That our individual brains are almost going to be like individual neurons within a larger mind. Who's to say that that's not going to be something that happens? And then who's to say that as we enter into this new mode that is connected, I mean, that the internet connects us, that we are reevaluating traditional institutions. We are reevaluating the best way to go forward. It's like we're not going to come together collectively until we kind of all come to like a generalized consensus. And that means all of us. It's an interesting kind of concept, I think. And I think that's one way that you can kind of look at the way that things are happening, and there's so much change and there's so much radical, just ideological, just like things that have been happening, ways of thought that have been just being upended. The old way is out, the new way is in, kind of stuff, and we've been seeing so much of that recently. But I also think that, I mean, I do look at things from a very kind of nuts and bolts, just pragmatic, just biologic kind of perspective. And then when I look at that stuff and I look like, well, it would just be just a natural progression of things. When people are like, oh my gosh, the world is changing and I'm freaking out and I don't know what to think about the future. And I'm just like, it just seems like a natural thing, you know? That's how I look at it. Yeah, just... I don't think I would be probably more worried if things just never, if they didn't change. Oh, look at them. They're hugging. Oh, that's cute. Anyway, like I didn't even like really enter. I kind of wanted to enter into this webcast to talk about that stuff a little bit, but I didn't really, not maybe specifically to that type of topic. Sometimes I'll have like a formed idea or a topic that I want to get on, and then I kind of think about it. I'm like, maybe I don't want to like broach it like that, and then I start getting on these other tangents, and then it's just like, okay, well, I can find a way to kind of, connect the dots in a roundabout way. So many different things are connected, aren't they, Momo? So many things are connected. But yeah. So I only say that like I wasn't necessarily planning on like diving so deep into that stuff. So like the concepts they might be like a little bit just kind of half baked, kind of like some of my cooking skills. Like, oh my gosh, the chicken could have been a little bit more browned. Like, yeah, it's like this idea could have been seasoned a little bit differently. But that's the great thing about cooking, and that's the great thing about coming up with ideas or just thinking about things or just like going through them. You just got to practice it. You just got to keep on like, okay. And eventually you get kind of, you get maybe a few skills here and there, but there's always going to be room for improvement. Always, always, always. It's that Julia Child kind of thing. I think I've talked about this before, but I don't even know what the actual French philosophy. There's a French philosophy. It's in one of the videos I watched of her. There's a French philosophy about cooking, where you have to go forward into a cooking endeavor boldly. Like when you're just beginning to start out, just understand that you will break eggs and that you will overcook a souffle, or you might not get the spices just right, but you will learn every time that you go forward and try to do the cooking endeavor. So you must make sure that you go forward boldly, knowing that you'll make mistakes, but you'll get better. And that, like, I have always taken that to heart. As it was a great bit of wisdom from Miss Child that I've always always, because look, like, yes, ever since the sperm and the egg came together, I've internalized this Julia Child monologue. No. When people say, like, I've always thought that, I'm like, really? Your entire existence? Like, since I've heard it within the last few years, I thought it was a really great way to just kind of look at life. Anyway, we're starting to babble on a lot now. I don't know where the lemurs are. There's one right there. There's a couple right there. They're hanging out. They're pooping, and they're all having a good time. I will talk to you folks later. Hashtag Dorbus Award in the comments section below. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And once again, if you want to watch the fancy casts where things just get downright fancy, you can go ahead and hit the link down in the video description below that takes you to the Patreon account. You can get fancy casts, which are about $1 a month, and that gets you four additional half-hour long webcasts every month. I think it's a good deal. Anyway, my name is Derek. This place is CARE. You can find out more about this organization at carerescuetexas.com. And I'll talk to you folks later. Okay? Bye-bye.